It's barely noon, and I'm anxious. The first thing to go is my appetite, and I say yes anyway because I got the distinct impression that's not really a question. Great, Evelyn says. Grace, will you call ahead to Trambano's? Evelyn takes me by the shoulder, and less than 10 minutes later, we're walking down the manicured sidewalks of the Upper East Side. The sharp chill in the air surprised me, and I noticed Evelyn grab her coat tightly around her tiny waist. In the sunlight, it's easier to see the signs of aging. The wishes of her clouds are, which the whites of her eyes are cloudy, and the complexation of her hands in the process of becoming translucent. The clear blue tint to her veins reminds me of my grandmother. I used to love the soft, papery tenderness of her skin, the way it didn't bounce back but stayed in place. Evelyn, what do you mean you'll be dead? Evelyn laughs. I mean that I want you to publish the book as an authorized biography, with a name on it, when I'm dead. Okay, I say, if this is a perfectly normal thing to have someone say to you. And then I realize, no, that's crazy. Not to be indelicate, but are you telling me you're dying? Everyone's dying, sweetheart. You're dying, I'm dying, that guy is dying. She points to a middle-aged man walking a fluffy black dog. He sees her finger aimed at him, and realizes that it's who it is that's speaking. This effect on his face is something like a triple take. Return to the restaurant, walking 2 steps down to the door. Evelyn sits at a table in the back. No ghost guided her here. She just knows where to go, and I assume everyone else will catch up. A server in black pants, a white shirt, and a black tie comes to our table and puts down 2 glasses of water. Evelyn's has no ice. Thank you, Troy, Evelyn says. Chopped salad, he asks. Well, for me, of course, but I'm not sure about my friend, Evelyn says. I take the napkin off the table and put it in my left. A chopped salad sounds great. Thank you. Troy smiles and leaves. You like the chopped salad, Evelyn says, as if we're friends having a normal conversation. Okay, I say, trying to redirect. Tell me more about this book we're writing. Well, I've told you all you need to know. You've told me that I'm writing it and that you're dying. You need to pay better attention to word choice. I may feel a little bit out of my league here, and I may not be exactly where I want to be in my life right now, but I know one thing or two about word choice. I must have misunderstood you. I promise I'm very thoughtful with my words. Evelyn shrugs. This conversation is very low stakes for her. You're young, and your entire generation is casual with words that bear great meaning. I see. And I didn't say I was confessing any sins. To say that I have to tell as a sin is misleading and hurtful. I don't feel regret for the things I've done, at least not the things you might expect, despite how hard they may have been or how repugnant they seem in the cold light of day. Je ne regrette rien, I say, lifting my glass of water and sipping it. That's the spirit, Evelyn says, although that song is more about not regretting because you don't like life in the past. Don't live in the past. What I mean is that I'd still rather still make a lot of the same decisions today. To be clear, there are things I regret. It's not the sordid things. I don't regret many of the lies I told or the people I hurt. I'm okay with the fact that sometimes doing the right thing gets ugly. And also, I have compassion for myself. I trust myself. Take, for instance, when I slapped you earlier, back at the apartment, when you said what you did about my confessing sins. It wasn't a nice thing to do, and I'm not sure you deserved it. But I don't regret it, because I know I had my reasons, and I did the best I could with every thought and feelings that led up to. You umbrage with the word sin because it implies you feel sorry. Our salads appear, and Troy wordlessly grates pepper onto Evelyn's until she puts her hand up and smiles. I decline. You can be sorry about something and not regret it, Evelyn says. Absolutely, I say. I see that. I hope you can give me the benefit of the doubt, going forward, that we're on the same page, even if there are multiple ways to interpret exactly what we're talking about. Evelyn picks up her fork, but doesn't do anything with it. I find it very important with the journalist who who will hold my legacy in her hands. To say something what I mean and to me what I say, Evelyn says. If I'm going to tell you about my life, I'm going to tell you what really happened. The truth behind all my marriages. The movies I shot, the people I loved, and who I slept with, who I hurt, how I compromised myself, where it all landed. I need to know what you understand, that you understand me. I need to know that you will listen exactly what I'm trying to tell you, and not to place your own assumptions onto my story. I was wrong. This is not low stakes for Evelyn. Evelyn can speak casually about things of great importance, but right now, in this moment when she's talking so much time, taking so much time to make specific points, I'm realizing this is real. This is happening. She really intends to tell me her life story, a story with no doubt includes the gritty truths behind her career and her marriages and her image. That's an incredibly vulnerable position she's putting herself into. It's a lot of power she's giving me. I don't know why she's giving it to me, but that doesn't negate the fact that she is giving it to me, and it's my job right now to show her that I am worthy of it, and I will treat it sacred. I put my fork down. That makes perfect sense. I'm sorry if I was being glib. Evelyn waves this off. The whole culture is glib now. That's the thing. That's the new thing. Do you mind if I ask a few more questions? Once I have the lay of the land, I promise to focus solely on what you're saying and what you mean, so that you feel understood at such a level you can think of no one better suited to the task of gatekeeping your secrets than me. My sincerity disarms her even so briefly. You may begin, she says, as she takes a bite of her salad. If I am to publish this book after you have passed, what sort of financial gain do you envision? For me or for you? Let's start with you. None for me. Remember, I'll be dead. You mentioned that. Next question. I lean in conspiratorially. I hate to pose something so vulgar, but what kind of timeline do you intend? Am I to hold this book for years until you die? Well, yes, I say. Next question. What? Next question, please. You didn't answer that one. Evelyn is silent. Alright, then what kind of financial gain is there for me? A much more interesting question, and I have been wondering why it took you so long to ask. Well, I've asked it. You and I will meet over the next however many days it takes, and I will tell you absolutely everything, and then our relationship will be over, and you will be free, or perhaps I should say bound to write it into a book and sell it to the highest bidder. And what I do mean highest, I insist that you be ruthless in your negotiating, Montague. Make them pay you what you would pay a white man. And then, once you've done that, every penny from it will be yours. Mine? I say, stunned. You should drink some water. You seem ready to faint. I've written an authorized biography about your life, in which you talk about all 7 of your marriages. Yes? A book like that stands to make millions of dollars, even if it didn't negotiate. But you will, Evelyn says, taking a sip from her water and looking pleased. The question has to be asked. We've been dancing around for far too long. Why on earth would you do that for me? Evelyn nods. She's been expecting this question. For now, think of it as a gift. But why? Next question. Seriously? Seriously, Montague. Next question. I accidentally dropped my fork onto the ivory tablecloth. The oil from the dressing beads into the fabric, turning it darker and more translucent. The chopped salad is delicious, but heavy on the onions, and I can feel the heat of my breath permeating the space around me. What the hell is going on? I'm not trying to be ungrateful, but I think I deserve to know why. One of the most famous actresses of all time could pluck me out of obscurity to be her biographer and hand me the opportunity to make millions of dollars off her story. The Huffington Post is reporting that I could sell my autobiography for as much as $12 million. Jesus Christ. Intriguing minds want to know, I guess. The way Evelyn is having so much fun with this, the way she seems to delight is shocking me. Lets me know that this is at least a little bit, a power play. She likes to be cavalier about the things that would change other people's lives. Isn't that the very definition of power? Watching people kill themselves over something That means nothing to you? 12 million is a lot, don't get me wrong, she says, and she doesn't need to finish the sentence in order for it to be completely in my head. But it's not very much for me. But still, Evelyn, why? Why me? Evelyn looks up at me, her face stoic. Next question. With all due respect, you're not being particularly fair. I'm offering you the chance to make a fortune and skyrocket to the top of your field. I don't have to be fair. Certainly not if that's how you're going to find it anyway. On the one hand, this feels like a no-brainer. But at the same time, Evelyn is giving me absolutely nothing concrete. And I could lose my job by stealing a story like this for myself. That job is all I have right now. Can I have some time to think about this? Think about what? About all of this. Evelyn's eyes narrow ever so slightly. What on earth is there to think about this? I'm sorry if it offends you, I say. Evelyn cuts me off. You haven't offended me. Just the very implication that I could get under her skin gets under her skin. There's a lot to consider, I say. I could get fired. She could back out. I could fail spectacularly at writing this book. Evelyn leans forward, trying to hear me out. For instance, how am I supposed to handle this with Vivian? They think that I have exclusive with you. They're making calls to photographers at this very moment. I told Thomas Welch not to promise a single thing, and if they had gone out and made wild assumptions about some cover, that's on them. But it's on me too, because now I have no intention of moving forward with them. So what do I do? Go back to my office and tell my boss that you're not talking to Vivian? That instead you and I are selling a book? It's going to look like I went behind their backs on company time, mind you, and stole their story for myself. That's not really my problem, Evelyn says. But that's why I have to think about it, because it's my problem. Evelyn hears me. I can tell she's taking me seriously from the way she puts her water glass down and looks directly at me, leaning with her forearms on the table. You have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here, Monica. You can see that, right? Of course. So do yourself a favor and learn how to grab my life on the balls, dear. So don't be so tied up trying to do the right thing when the smart thing is so painfully clear. You don't think that I should be forethought with my employers about this? They'll think I conspire to screw them over. Evelyn shakes her head. When my team specifically requested you, your company shot back with selling at a higher level. They only agreed to send you out once they made it clear that it was you or no one. Do you know why I did that? Because they can run a business, and so can you. And right now, your business stands to go through the roof. You have a choice to make. Are we writing a book together or not? You should know if you don't write it, I'm going to give it to someone else. It will die with me in that case. Then why would you only tell me your life story? You don't even know me. That doesn't make sense. I'm under absolutely no obligation to make sense to you. What are you after, Evelyn? You ask too many questions. I am here to interview you. Still, she takes a sip of water, swallows, and then looks at me right in the eye. By the time we are through, you won't have any questions, she says. All of those things are so desperate now. I promise I'll answer them before we're done, but I'm not going to answer them 1 minute before I want to. I call the shots. That's how this is going to go. I listen to her and think about it, and I realize that I would be an absolute moron to walk away from this, no matter what her terms are. I didn't stay in New York and let David go to San Francisco because I like the Statue of Liberty. I did it because I want to climb the ladder as high as I possibly can. I did it because I want my name, the name my father gave me, in big, bold letters one day. This is my chance. Okay, I say. Okay then, glad to hear it. Evelyn's shoulders relax. She picks up her water again and smiles. Monica, I think I like you, she says. I breathe deeply, and only now realizing how shallow my breathing has been. Thank you, Evelyn. This means a lot.